Okay, welcome to the deep dive. This is where you give us the source material, maybe articles, notes, research, and, well, we jump in head first.
Yeah, we pull out the key insights, the real takeaways for you.
Exactly. Helping you get informed quickly, maybe find a few surprises along the way.
It's about making that information really work for you, seeing the connections.
And today, you've given us a really interesting pairing. We've got a passage from the book of Numbers, chapter 33, verses 50 to 56. And we're looking at it alongside a reflection called Clearing the Land for Your Promised Land.
Right. It's quite a link, isn't it? Ancient history and a very practical idea for life now.
Definitely. You've got this command to the Israelites right on the edge of a huge change for them.
And then this modern piece, thinking about what that means for, personal growth, tackling new things.
So our mission here in this deep dive is kind of twofold. First, let's get a handle on the history. What did this command mean then to the Israelites about to enter Canaan?
Right.
And second, how does this source material use that ancient instruction as, well, a metaphor for us today, for navigating new seasons, opportunities, challenges in your life? Let's unpack this.
Sounds good. So the Numbers passage, it catches the Israelites at this really pivotal moment. Verse 50 says, the Lord spoke to Moses right there in the plains of Moab.
Right across the Jordan from Jericho. I mean, they can literally see the land.
Exactly. After 40 years wandering in the wilderness, they're finally there.
40 years. Wow. All that time, all those struggles, and now they're on the brink. And this command, it's immediate, isn't it? It's for when they cross over.
Precisely. It's about what they need to do right away. Verse 51 and 52 spell it out clearly.
Okay, what does it say?
When you pass over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants, destroy all their figured stones, destroy all their metal images, demolish all their high places.
Wow, so it's not just about, finding a place to live.
Yeah.
It's an active command. Remove the people and completely destroy their religious symbols and worship sites. It's about cleansing the land.
Yes, cleansing is a good word. And the why behind it is critical, as the source material points out. These weren't just decorations.
The figured stones and metal images.
Right. They represented Canaanite religious practices, idolatry, fertility cults, you name it. Things totally opposed to the Israelites' covenant with God.
Okay. So leaving them behind wasn't just messy.
It was dangerous. It meant leaving temptations, influences that could, pull them away from who they were meant to be. It threatened their core identity.
That makes sense.
Right.
So taking the land wasn't just about geography. It was about protecting their spiritual path, their relationship with God.
And verse 53 links it directly. And you shall take possession of the land and settle in it, for I have given the land to you to possess it.
So the full possession required the clearing first.
Exactly. Which brings us to the warning. And this is where it gets really potent for the modern application we're going to talk about. What if they didn't do it?
Verse 55 lays it out. It's dark. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants, then those of them whom you let remain shall be as barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides.
Oh, they shall trouble you in the land where you dwell.
Barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides. I mean, that imagery, it's so visceral.
It really is. It suggests this constant grating pain and irritation, hindrance, things getting in the way.
So the people and practices they left wouldn't just fade into the background.
No, they'd actively cause problems, distress. They'd make it hard to really settle, to thrive in the land God gave them.
Okay, so taking that warning, that consequence of not clearing the land, how does that principle map onto our lives today when we face something new?
Well, that's exactly where the reflection piece, clearing the land for your promised land, comes in. It takes this whole historical event
And applies it.
Yes. It suggests God often leads us into new opportunities, new seasons, our own sort of promised lands.
The promised land could be, what, like a new job?
Could be a new job, yeah. Or maybe a significant new relationship, moving somewhere new, pursuing a calling, even just, a new stage of personal growth.
Okay, I get it. Any significant new space or opportunity God opens up.
Right. And the main idea from the source is this. God might open the door, give you the new land, but it's our job to clear out what doesn't belong there.
Just like the Israelites couldn't just move in and ignore what was already there.
Exactly. We can't just step into a new thing and assume it'll be smooth sailing, that there won't be internal stuff to deal with.
And the inhabitants, or idols, we need to clear out. They're internal, right? The source mentions things like toxic habits.
Toxic habits, negative thought patterns that are really stuck, unhealthy ways of coping, or even modern idols,
What does it mean by modern idols?
Well, things we rely on or chase after instead of focusing on what's truly important for that new season. Things that take God's place, essentially.
Okay. And think about that barbs in your eyes, thorns in your sides idea again. If your promised land is, say, a new leadership role you're stepping into.
Okay.
But you bring along this like deep-seated need for everyone to like you, to approve of everything you do.
Right. That could absolutely be a thorn. It would constantly poke at you, wouldn't it?
Totally. It could skew your decisions, make it hard to be bold, just trouble you in that new role.
Or another example, maybe your promised land is starting a really healthy relationship, but you carry in old patterns from past hurts. Maybe you shut down when conflict arises, or you're always looking outside the relationship for validation.
Those become the barbs. They get in the way of trust, of intimacy. They trouble the very connection you want to build.
Exactly. And the source material is pretty blunt. If we don't actively face and deal with these internal obstacles, they will cause trouble. They'll hinder us from fully settling in and thriving, just like with the Israelites.
So it wasn't enough for God to give the land. They had to do the work to make it truly theirs, truly habitable for their purpose.
Precisely. And this leads to some direct questions the source poses, really, for you, the listener.
Okay, what are they?
First, what is your promised land right now? What's that new thing on the horizon, or maybe you're already in it, that new opportunity, season, calling?
Identifying the land. Got it.
Then, what idols or distractions are still lingering? You know, what habits, thought patterns, unhealthy attachments, maybe things you're chasing that don't fit with where you're heading?
What stuff from the wilderness journey needs to be left behind?
Yeah. And the really challenging one, are you willing to confront and remove them? God provides the opportunity, the land, but the source really stresses it's our part to do the work of cleaning house.
It's an active thing, not passive.
Definitely active. The Israelites had to drive out, destroy. For us, it means intentionally identifying and addressing these internal inhabitants, these idols.
Realizing that just showing up in the new space isn't enough. You have to clear it intentionally.
Right. Intentional clearing is needed if you really want to thrive there.
Which brings us back to that final thought from the source material. What do I need to let go of in order to fully step into what God has for me?
Letting go. That's often the toughest part, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if these things, these inhabitants, are old habits. Maybe even coping mechanisms that helped somehow in the past, but now
they're toxic or just don't fit. But the principle is clear. Leaving them undealt with, it has consequences.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. What's the core takeaway from this deep dive into Numbers and this reflection piece?
I think it's this. Amazing opportunities, these promised lands, might be given to us. But our ability to actually flourish in them, to really possess them fully, depends heavily on the internal work we're willing to do.
We have to identify and actively deal with those inner barbs and thorns.
Exactly. Those toxic patterns, the distractions, the unhealthy attachments, anything that could trouble us or stop us from really inhabiting that new space God has opened.
Because just like the Israelites faced trouble when they left things uncleared, we can end up undermining our own progress, our own well-being.
Yeah, if we don't deal with the internal clutter, the conflicts, when we step into something new, it's not just about getting there.
It's about preparing ourselves, preparing the space for real flourishing.
So maybe something for you to consider personally. What is your promised land at this moment?
And then what are those idols or thorns, those habits, distractions, maybe fears that might be holding you back? Are you really ready to do the work, to confront them, to remove them?
Remember the historical warning. Leaving things unclear made them barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides. Think about the personal costs in your life.
What happens if you don't confront those toxic patterns or distractions as you step into this new thing?
What kind of discomfort, what friction, what trouble might just linger? What could stop you from truly thriving if you don't do the work of cleaning house right now?